Hey everybody, Ryan here with House and Home Mortgage Co. I wanted to set this video up this week just to do a little bit of a recap of the month of May. So importantly, one of the things that I've been missing this month is I've been trying to do these recaps at the end of every month, and I'm realizing it's already the first week of June. So I managed to blow right past the end of May and move right into June, which is probably a really good sign of how busy it's been around here. Spring market's picking up, lots of action happening in the purchase market right now. We're definitely finding that a lot of first-time buyers that have been waiting on the sidelines are all of a sudden wanting to get into the market. Now the prices have come down a little bit, activity's settled somewhat. It's not quite as crazy as it was last year, and we've really had probably a lot more time now than we have in a few years to go through choice with people. Talking about different types of mortgage terms, different types of length of the term. We're not just offering up the typical 5-year fixed like a lot of the banks will. We're trying to dig into, why we might be choosing a shorter term or maybe even a variable still. After all the craziness last year with variable rates, they're still a pretty attractive option for people that have a little bit of risk tolerance, have the ability to ride out what's coming over the next couple of years. I do think there's still some savings to be had there. So it's nice. We're staying busy, but at the same time, we're having a lot more time to really try and get to know people a little better than we have had the opportunity to over the last couple of years while it's so busy. And I feel like that's leading to us being able to give a lot better advice right now. So if you know somebody who is thinking about getting into the market, this is a really good time. I think there's some opportunities to get in now while things are still a little bit slower. Prices are still a little bit lower than they were last year, and I really do honestly think real estate, especially in BC and probably Canada across the board, it's only going up from here. It's a matter of time before prices start rising again, and we're going to feel that pressure, or that FOMO is going to kick in, and all of a sudden the real estate market can get very crazy without a whole lot of notice. Now, one of the other things we've talked a little bit about this month that I'm really loving is our Calendly setup, our automated calendar on our website. So if you have questions and you're thinking about booking a phone call or you'd like to set up an appointment with me, super easy to do that. I've got a link right on our website now. You can jump in, actually view my calendar and see when I'm available. Yeah, there's a couple of different options for appointments there that'll book the right length of time, so we make sure we reserve enough time to sit down and really go through whatever it is you want to discuss. So if you haven't tried that out yet and you're thinking about reaching out, do so. I'll make sure I drop the link in this post so you guys have the ability to jump right on my website, book a call or an appointment anytime that's convenient for you. And last but not least, Bank of Canada meeting coming up this week. It's going to be on Wednesday. This is a very different meeting, I think, than we were expecting a couple months ago. There is a very good possibility, maybe not a high likelihood, but at least, somewhat of a possibility that rates might actually go up. Based on everything we know today, that's not all that likely at this meeting. It's just sort of going to be a talking point. I think the Bank of Canada is going to reinforce that there is the possibility rates still need to go up from here, and that they're going to do what they have to do to try and rein inflation in. It's been really interesting to watch the numbers unfold over the last few months because inflation hasn't settled down like we were expecting. A lot of economists were projecting that GDP would be a little bit less than it actually is. I mean, we were projecting 2.5%, but it's over 3%. That unemployment would be starting to rise by now, and that CPI, or that rate of inflation, would start to have slowed down, and it hasn't. Now, we're in for probably better numbers once we compare to the month of June, so we'll see how June and May look when those reports come in, but I do think that at least come the July Bank of Canada meeting, that there is a remote possibility, and it could get higher and higher as the next few months come on, that we could still be in for one more rate hike. I think it's very unlikely we're going to go past that, but yeah, maybe we're not quite done with this whole inflation thing yet. Now, having said that, anybody out there that's riding that variable rate still and isn't sure how this might impact you, or if you're not quite sure if that roller coaster is one you still want to continue to ride, now is a really good time to consider locking in that variable, converting it to a fixed rate. That's not for everybody. It's got to be a really good reason for doing it. Typically, historically, over time, the costs by doing that are probably going to be a little bit higher. I don't think there's any way to time that right. But if you're worried about those payments changing more, or you're just sick and tired of hearing about rate updates and having to worry about what you think is coming next when it comes to mortgage rates, there's some opportunity here. And if we're right, and maybe fixed rates or maybe variable rates do start to go up a little bit again come July, well, that's probably going to drag fixed rates with it. So if you're on the fence and you're thinking about locking into a fixed rate, now could be a good time to do so. However, if you can ride this out, I think we're in for one more peak or one more hike, and we are getting near or already at the peak for variable rates. So if you can stick it out for a little bit longer, I do think there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to turn the corner. Rates are going to start coming down. As always, thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in. If you have any questions, I'm always here to help. I'm happy to make time. I'll drop that link to my calendar in the comments here, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks very much.